What is up, everybody out there in HeroClix land? This once again is Scott Porter back for day number 2 of our brand new HeroClix unboxing series for DC's Lantern Legacy. Legacy, what does it mean? It means the ongoing, incredible, rich storytelling that happened in the world of the Lanterns, the emotional spectrum spread across all of the DC Omniverse, I guess we say now after Dark Knights. The Omniverse is a collection of universes that becomes a multiverse, and then a collection of multiverses that become an Omniverse. DC is the home of so many Elseworlds tales now, but I have to say, consistently, the Lantern stories are some of the best storytelling that DC has to offer. Ever since Jeff Johns took over the line, it has been incredible. And even before that, there were a lot of great Green Lantern stories. We go all the way back to Alan Scott and his very first appearance, all the explanation of the lore behind the Starheart and how it ties to the Guardians, how it ties to Hal Jordan, and then all the Lanterns that have happened since then. Yesterday, we pulled some pretty cool pieces. Today, I hope that we do the same. The set comes out in late July. I know yesterday was a little bit of a longer video. We're opening 3 boosters today, and I'm hoping to keep it a little bit shorter and just as sweet. We found out we have legacy cards. We have constructs. We have heroes and villains galore, of course. We didn't pull any super rares yesterday, but the Green Lanterns have really cool green bases. So I can't wait to see what other surprises lie in wait for us as we continue on our journey of Lantern Legacy. Okay, here we go. Boom. Our very first booster. Wow, okay. Ooh, we have some fun stuff in here. Hey, look at that. We got a little version of the big guy we got over here. Let's pop him out first. We have the Spectre, albeit a much smaller piece than the one that I have to my right. We also have, if we're going to talk about a tiny piece, we have the Atom. And he is so small. You can't even really see him. He's just like a little picture on the base there. At least he's not just a dot. If you remember, if you've been playing this game for a little while, we used to have tiny little figures that would just be a dot. You wouldn't even see anything at all. Speaking of the legacy aspect, Spectre is definitely a legacy character. Also, Jade, the daughter of Alan Scott. Very cool. Ooh, we have a Black Lantern version of Hal Jordan. Interested to see how powerful he is. Yesterday, we pulled a couple of Hals, or looked at a couple of Hals, and they were all kind of lower priced. And then we have some chains. I'm guessing that we'll have, construct chains, but these are just some chains that we have. So let me pull these guys back and figure out where we want to start today. Maybe we'll start with the construct, actually. Oh, shoot. We have another legacy card. Yesterday we got Bleeze. Today we are getting another piece, which I actually happen to have found in my collection and brought today to share with you all. This is cool. Usually we just save the legacy cards for the last day. Today's 3 boosters, tomorrow's 3 boosters, and or 2 boosters in the release day kit, 3 boosters on Thursday, and then usually 2 boosters in the rest of the legacy cards, or all of the legacy cards. I guess we'll just have the rest of them this year. Yeah, you know what? Let's take a look at this chain first here. Wow, there we go. Just some chains. Set number S21. Just a pile of chains. Equipment, indestructible. Equip any. Qualifying name, Lobo. What? We're going to get a Lobo in this set? Okay, now we're cooking with gas. Now we're cooking with gas. That is awesome. Effect is a giant reach of 3. Has 3 targets, but only during close attacks. Remember, your lightning bolts allow you to attack multiple characters in adjacency at this point. Very, very cool. On the back, you see the qualifying name, keywords, unequipping and dropping, and all of the rules. If you're not familiar with equipment, you're new to the game, go ahead and pause it, take a look at that, or actually just jump into your rules book for HeroClix. So a chain, not a construct, just chains, but they belong to Lobo. Yeah, the main man himself. We'll talk about Lobo later. Actually has some really cool ties to the Lanterns, but if we pull him, we'll talk about it. If not, we're going to keep it moving. All right, let's take a look now at the Atom. And I don't even know how to do this, man. I'm just going to hold him up here for a second so you can see there is art there. It says Star Labs. And now I'm going to put him down and let him spin while we look at the card. Justice League Scientist. Set number 14 comes in at 45 points. The big guys don't notice me. Opposing characters that have giant or colossal can't target Atom unless all characters on your force have tiny. Very, very cool. Has a perplex, has phasing. That is really cool because one of the best moves for the Atom is he just sneaks inside the ear of the big bad guy without him ever noticing him, and then sneak attack. On the back you have, I can actually go smaller. Super senses. Opposing characters can't target Atom unless they are adjacent to him. So you can't even target him from range at all. Even though he's getting the bonus to his tiny size, if you're trying to attack him from range, you actually can't see him to do that. That is awesome unless you're adjacent to him. Justice League is his team ability. Ray Palmer, significant appearance, Hawkman, number 6 in 2019. Very, very cool. If you'll remember, in which of the storylines was it? There were Earth deputies for the different Lantern Corps that ended up being chosen. Scarecrow was the Sinestro Corps, and Lex Luthor was the representative for Avarice. The Compassion element was Atom, actually. He had his, Indigo staff, so he was a representative of the Indigo Tribe here on Earth. Very, very cool tie-in there, and a little bit of a legacy himself. Speaking of legacies, let's look at the Spectre. This version of the Spectre, you see how little he is. Actually, this guy could just hold him in his bicep. You know, you just ride on his shoulder here. Okay, here comes the Spectre, tiny size. Oh, let me get him on there. Right, there we go. Boom. Still pretty impressive sculpt. I love the flowing cloak. Spectre, Justice Society, Cosmic Detective, Herald, Mystical Past, and Police. I am betting that this is actually Jim Corrigan, which was the first Spectre that we were introduced to in the DC world. That's really, really cool. Set number 9 comes at 125 or 30 points. Justice Society, Cosmic, Detective, Herald, Mystical Past, and Police. I already said that. Sorry, y'all. Trait, A Simpler Time. Yes, this is the JSA version, the older version of the Spectre. Once per turn for all characters with this trait. When a character uses JSA to replace its defense values with Spectres, you may choose that this turn that character can use Mystics. Has some running shot, a 12 attack there, 19 defense, so you definitely will be sharing this and sharing that Mystics team ability as well. On the back you see Justice Society and Mystics team abilities. Jim Corrigan, Aztar, Spectre, number 6 in 1987. Jim Corrigan, the old school version of the Spectre. We also have Crispus Allen. We also have Hal Jordan, who inhabited the body of the Spectre. A number of different people have inherited the judgment of the gods, the wrath or the judgment of the gods, which is the Spectre. Very, very cool. Love to see that. And man, we are not getting a lot of villains in here. I will say that so far. Haven't seen a lot of villains. And we've got 2 more heroes to look at here. Before we take a look at this legacy card that we pulled, Jade. Now, Jade is a cool character. I definitely want to chat about her a little bit. People might not be too familiar with her if they're newer fans of the DCU. Okay, Jade. Green Lantern Corps, Justice League, Justice Society, Outsiders, Herald, Mystical Keywords. Set number 32 comes at 55 points. My Parents' Gifts. Willpower. When Jade uses it and succeeds, after resolutions, generate 2 plant terrain hindering terrain markers. This game, those markers have, when this marker hinders line of fire, characters instead modify defense by +2. If Jade occupies or is adjacent to any plant terrain markers, modify her attack and defense by +1. She's got some improved targeting there. Look at the back of her card. She's got the Starheart's influence, precision, strike, and steel energy. Jennifer Lynn Hayden, Dark Crisis, number 3, is her significant appearance. I love the power selection that she has. If you look at the front of the card with hypersonic speed, she's got 2 targets, so a pretty powerful lantern all herself. Very, very cool. All right, so let's take a little bit of time to chat about Jade. I just want to talk a little bit quickly about her because she is part of this legacy idea. She is the daughter of Alan Scott and a woman named Rose, who also had she was a little bit schizophrenic. She had an alter ego called Thorn that was a little bit of a villain. Alan Scott originally had a weakness to wood, and if we're lucky enough to pull Alan Scott, we'll talk about why. But the gifts of what Thorn had in her ability to control plants and such, the reason she's green is because that's chlorophyll in her skin that comes from her mother. But all of the Green Lantern stuff comes from the Starheart, which is what powers Alan Scott's Green Lantern powers. The Starheart is a very, very cool story. The Guardians, who have caused so much problem in the universe, the little tiny blue guys, they decided to try and wipe emotion out of the universe because they thought it would cause chaos. They also tried to wipe magic out of the universe. And when they did that, they shoved it all into a star. They housed it, kind of all of this like loose magic in the cosmos, into this star. And when it eventually broke free with its own will, because magic has its own will, it became the Starheart, this glowing green fire that fell to Earth. It was followed by the rage that kept it encapsulated as well. The Crimson Flame also fell to Earth, both falling to Earth, which is a very important part of Alan Scott's Green Lantern story. So he has something that was created sort of by the Guardians because they decided to combine all the magic into one little thing, and that's what powers his ring, his lantern, and eventually just became a part of him. That's how he does his constructs. That's how he throws his big trains around. And his daughter Jade, that's how she initially had the powers of a lantern before she officially became one herself. Now, Jade passed away. She was brought back in Blackest Night, brought back to life in Brightest Day, and has been around off and on since then. She was also a member of a team called Infinity Inc., which was JSA's version of the Teen Titans, the children of the JSA starting their own superhero team. Jade is a really cool character. Go check out Infinity Inc. if you love the Teen Titans, if you like the JSA and you want to see their descendants become heroes on their own. Infinity Inc. is definitely something I would say go ahead and read. Her brother Obsidian is her twin, also the son of Thorn and Alan Scott. She's a really cool character. She dated Kyle Rayner for a while and was actually a big part of the reason that a lot of Kyle's relationships met their end in very awful, violent ways. I was glad to see her come back in Brightest Day. Talking about Blackest Night, the opposite of that, when she was initially brought back, we also have this version of Hal Jordan, Black Lantern. Now, why does he have a black ring? There's a couple of different times in the books that he gets it. We'll talk about it in a second. He is 16A. Oh, maybe 16B White Lantern, Hal Jordan? I don't know. Black Lantern Corps Herald and Monster. He is 50 points, just like the other Hal Jordan that we have in the main set, the yellow ring wearing version. Are they all going to be only 50 points? By my black hand, steal energy but with close or range attacks. When Hal Jordan generates a grave hindering terrain marker, after resolutions, you may place him in that square so he can bounce around. He's got 2 targets. He's got the same statistical spread, it kind of looks like, as the other one. The Dead Shall Rise is on the back of his card. This is very cool. Barrier, combat reflexes. Once per turn, when Hal Jordan generates 1 or more terrain markers, after resolutions, he may generate a grave hindering terrain marker adjacent to another marker he generated this turn. So barrier is popping up, graves are popping down. He can move around in those graves. Super cool. Hal Jordan, Green Lantern number 50 in 2010. So when did Hal Jordan have a Black Lantern ring? Well, a couple of things happened during Blackest Night. A lot of characters who had been already touched by death, who had died and come back to life and been heroes, were able actually to be attacked by these Black Lantern rings, turned into Black Lanterns. And Hal Jordan, we know from Rebirth, had died for a little bit of time. And when he came back in Rebirth, Black Lantern during Blackest Night. But the coolest thing that I've ever seen Hal Jordan do with the Black Lantern ring is actually when they had to battle Volthoom. If you don't know who Volthoom is, he's the first Lantern. He's the first ever Lantern. He's incredibly powerful and was locked away for billions of years by the Guardians. His lantern was called the Travel Lantern. It was something that him and his mother built as he struck out into the galaxy to try and find a way to save his own planet, which was dying, in a universe that was dying. Volthoom was one of the very first to be able to access the emotional spectrum, kind of what brought the attention of the emotional spectrum to the Guardians in the first place, but he was intensely powerful. He comes back because the Guardians, after Blackest Night, after the War of the Green Lanterns, decide that the Green Lantern Corps can be no longer. They have to get rid of it. They have to begin anew. Now, the Guardians have made a lot of mistakes. They themselves trying to police the galaxy, locking away magic, locking away the emotional spectrum, creating the Manhunters, who went and destroyed an entire universe's worth of planets and created the Red Lantern Corps because of it. The Manhunters are very, very evil at this point. Non-feeling, non-emotional. Guardians made a mistake there. They made the Green Lantern Corps. They went with some time. They removed the Green Lantern Corps and tried to create something called the Third Army, all based off of Volthoom himself. But in order to do it, they had to kind of access Volthoom and create this Third Army. As soon as the Emotional Spectrum Corps were able to defeat the Third Army, Volthoom comes to the fore. In this storyline, Hal Jordan and Sinestro are both Green Lanterns together. Hal Jordan has been kicked out of the Green Lantern Corps. Him and Sinestro are trying to figure out a way to defeat Volthoom. They actually end up dying. I mean, Hal takes his own life and ends up in something called the Book of the Dead. Now, every Lantern Corps has their own book. It's full of prophecies. It's full of the history of the Corps. And this is what is so cool about all of the lore that Jeff Johns was able to build out with his run on Green Lantern. The Book of the Dead is guarded by Lyssa Drac. That would be awesome to get a Black Lantern version of Lyssa Drac in this set. She used to be the keeper of the Book of the Sinestro Corps. She is now the keeper of the Book of the Dead. He gets sucked into the Book of the Dead. He figures out a way to don a Black Lantern ring. He wins the battle within the book, not the Book of the Dead, the Book of the Black. He finds a way to lead the entire Black Lantern army out of the book, calls on Nekron himself to help defeat Volthoom. That's a very, very cool version of Hal Jordan with the Black Lantern ring. I don't know at 50 points that we're getting this full version of him. He did revert immediately after with no anchor in the real world. Nekron and the rest of the undead Black Lantern army went back inside the Book of the Black. But very, very cool storyline. I recommend going and checking all that out. I know I just spoiled a bunch of it, but it's still so worth reading because he's not the only piece that's moving in that war against Volthoom. Okay, next booster. I said I would keep it short, but man, some of these stories are so incredible. I have to share some of them with you guys. If you've never read the Lantern stuff, it's so deep. It's so good. And like I said in the last video, it's been so consistently good. DC has rebooted itself so many times, but somehow the pure essence of the Green Lantern books have stayed pretty consistent through all of these reboots, and I gotta say, really, really, really worth reading. Oh, I forgot. We pulled a legacy card in that last booster, and that legacy card is for Fatality. Boom. Talk about another mistake that a Lantern made. John Stewart blew up the planet of Xanshi, Fatality's home, and she became a Green Lantern hunter. But eventually her intense love for her old planet made her a Star Sapphire, and that is what we are looking at here. In Justice League, Secret Society of Supervillains, Sinestro Corps, Star Sapphires, and Warrior keywords, Legacy 52 comes in at 80 or 50 points. Love conquers hate when Fatality uses shape change or super senses and succeeds. After resolutions, deal the attacker 1 penetrating damage. Love endures. Mind control. When Fatality uses it, she has 2 targets. Until your next turn, increase her shape change and super senses results by +1 when a character attacks her, when a hit character attacks her. Sorry about that. Oof. Mind control, when Fatality uses it, 2 targets until your next turn, increase her shape change and super senses. Okay, anybody she mind controls, she is getting super duper senses against. Look at the back of her card. She has Hard, Energy, Spear, Blades, Claws, Fangs, Giant Reach of 2. Once per turn, when Fatality makes a close attack and misses after resolution, she may make a close attack targeting an opposing character that's adjacent to the original target location, regardless of adjacency. Wow, she has a lot going on. This one is from the HeroClix at Batman Team Up back in 2023, so not too long ago. Brilliant sculpt. Love the new reworking of all of her powers, and I'm pretty sure she'll be seeing some play on a map near you very soon. Awesome sculpt. That is so cool. All right, so we've seen a couple of legacy cards for a couple of different figures. You know what? I'm going to put these, they're villains, so I'm going to put these legacy cards on this side. I'll move the constructs over here. All right, here we go. Wow, this next pack is pretty intense. This is awesome. We got our first super rare of the day. Whew, man, there is so much in this set already. Oh my gosh. This is so cool. This is, oh my gosh, no way, we got Despotellis. Okay, all right. I was hoping we'd have a lot of Sinestro Corps players, and we got one in this booster. But the first thing we're looking at is Kyle Rayner, Indigo Lantern there. You know, of course, went and studied the planet Nock with Monk and Indigo 1 and the rest. We have a Red Lantern Recruit. I believe that's the same sculpt that we had in the War of Light. I believe the Red Lantern that they based that off of is named Skullex, actually. I remember that guy pretty well. He sacrificed himself in a move very uncommon for a Red Lantern. We also have a super rare, and that super rare is the Destroyer of Coast City. The creator of the initial Hal Jordan as Parallax that we all know. That is Hank Henshaw. That is the Cyborg Superman, member of the Sinestro Corps later on, leader of the Manhunters who we were just talking about. And last but not least, we have a ring. Fans of War of Light will recognize this bad boy. We have an Indigo Lantern ring. Very, very cool. So we're going to see, oh my gosh, and we also have a team-up card in this. Gosh, this set has everything, guys. Just pulled the team-up card for Kyle Rayner. Wow, that's cool. I don't even believe that Joe, do we even have team-up cards? Everybody, by the way, Joe's on the 1s and 2s back there. I'm at our HyperRPG studios, and he is running the cameras for us today. Everybody say, what's up, Joe, in the comments below, please. Give him some rounds of applause. Yeah, WizKids didn't even send us this stuff. I had no idea Legacies cards were coming in the packs. I had no idea we're getting team-up cards in this set at all. That's crazy. Okay, first things first, let's look at the ring. I'm itching. I want to see what the rings do here. I bet they're pretty similar to the rings that we've had in the past, but let's just take a look. Equipment S8. Indestructible, equip any. Qualifying keywords, Indigo Tribe. Unequip, drop. Effect, support. If this character can already use support, when they use it, increase the number of clicks healed by 1. Power. If no construct generated by this character was on your first force this turn, and this equipment is friendly to your force, generate an Indigo construct that hasn't been generated by this character this game. If this character has a listed keyword, the power effect is activated as free instead. Take a look at the back for all of your rules if you're not familiar with them. Boom. Feels very much like the rings we've had in the past. Very cool to see the rings dropping into play once again. Man, I'm running out of space to put things out here with all of the cool stuff that we are getting. Let's look at this Red Lantern Recruit next. Again, Skullex sacrificing his life. I think it was the battle against, was it against, I can't remember. There's too many things that happened. But Red Lantern Corps, Brute and Herald are the keywords. Comes in at 40 or 15 points, just like the Green Lantern Recruit and the Black Lantern Reanimate we got earlier. New Recruit. For all characters with this trait, when Red Lantern Recruit or adjacent friendly character with the Red Lantern Corps keyword KOs an opposing character after resolutions, generate a Red Lantern Recruit on its red starting line adjacent to a friendly character with the Red Lantern Corps keywords. So same thing as the Green Lantern Corps Recruit, I believe. Go back and check the tape on that. On the back, however, there's another trait called Burn You All. Poison, but deals damage even if moved this turn. Very, very cool. All right, so the Red Lantern recruit definitely going on the bad guy side over there next to the Black Lantern reanimate. The reason they have that poison stuff, if you haven't read any Green Lantern, most of them build constructs with their ring or with their staff in the case of the Indigo Tribe. However, the Red Lanterns don't really create constructs. They just puke all over you. And it's acid, and it melts everything, and it's violent, and it's so gnarly. So that's why that poison is triggering. And it looks like, I mean, do we have another Red Lantern? I think the Kyle Rayner Red Lantern had something similar. Can use poison even if moved or placed. So I'm pretty sure that's a shared trait that we have. All right, next up, let's go with a Sinestro Corps member, Despotellis. And I'm hoping we get a ton of Sinestro Corps characters. Oh, let me show you. He is a little tiny biovirus that was created elsewhere and created on a planet and is probably the most dangerous member of the Sinestro Corps. You can see Sinestro Corps and Herald are its keywords. Set number 15 comes in at 25 points. Sentient virus, poison, safeguard poison. Once per turn for all characters with this trait. All characters with this trait. When Despotellis hits with a close attack, after resolutions, you may generate a Despotellis on click number 5 adjacent to a hit target. This game, that Despotellis isn't scored when KO'd. Okay. Once per turn for all characters with this trait. So how many little Despotellis can you have floating around the board? You can see click number 5 there has some poison, has super senses, has precision strikes, so can be somewhat dangerous to anybody anywhere on the map. And if you start spawning extra ones and they're all attacking and all poisoning, they can rip through a squad pretty quickly. On the back, you see Despotellis, Green Lantern number 18 in 2007 as its significant appearance. Despotellis actually killed Kyle Rayner's mom, almost killed Guy Gardner. The guy is definitely evil. Was set loose on Earth, and I can't remember. I think it wasn't a Blue Lantern. It was a Green Lantern. Like what was it? It was like a antibiotic. It was like a sentient antibiotic. Basically, they like send into Guy Gardner's lantern body and isolate Despotellis and find a way to cure it. Basically. Which ends up removing Despotellis. But it was one of the most dangerous, most feared, because it's a virus and it spreads so quickly. Crazy idea for a lantern to exist that way. I don't know where Jeff Johns came up with that particular guy. I'm hoping we see Lysidrak in this set. I'm hoping we see, Carousel in this set. I'm hoping we see, Bodovian, the sniper, in the giant shell. Such a cool concept. Absolutely love that giant sea snail or space snail sniper that could shoot you from galaxies away. So cool. I'm hoping we see those in this set. Tell me down below, because I know we're not going to get everybody's favorite lanterns in this set, but if you're watching right now, tell me your biggest dream, your favorite lantern character. It doesn't have to be green, blue, it can be any color. Tell me your favorite lantern character, who you're hoping to have in this set, Lantern Legacy. Okay, Kyle Rayner, Indigo Tribe. Boom. Indigo Tribe, Justice League, Teen Titans, and Herald. Keywords, yes, he was a very short-lived member of the Teen Titans. 2D, an artist's compassion, support. When Kyle Rayner uses it, after resolutions, heal him 1 click. Ooh, I like that. Traited support that actually heals him as well as though regeneration would. That's really, really cool. You can see his dial there on the front. Comes in at 60 points, just like all the other Kyle Rayners. I guess all of them are going to be 60 points, which is crazy. He is 10 points more than any of the Hal Jordans. But, I mean, Kyle Rayner's done some pretty incredible stuff. I think he earned it personally. And you always see the artist on his cards, or you've seen it a couple of times now. One of the coolest things about the Green Lanterns, if you're not familiar with them, is they create their constructs in different ways. John Stewart, former military man, very particular, uses a lot of weaponry in his stuff. Guy Gardner, really arrogant. You can tell within his constructs. Hal Jordan, more classic stuff, catcher's mitt, jet airplane, stuff like that. Kyle didn't really have anybody to learn from. He wasn't seeing any other examples of how to use these green rings. And he's an artist. He's actually a comic artist at heart, and that was his job. He was a struggling artist before he got the ring. And he does really intricate, really incredible stuff with his rings. One of my favorite stories of all time with Kyle Rayner is actually, well, there's two. And they both deal with keeping somebody alive, creating a small heart to put into somebody that can keep pumping forever. And it's crazy the intricacy that he has in all of his little constructs. One was in the Obsidian Age, and one was much later on in older stories when he actually kept Orion alive by creating a new heart for Orion, the son of Highfather of the new gods, in a storyline called Godhead. Very cool, as he was the White Lantern, and the new gods came to, was right before Dark Crisis? Anyway, battling Darkseid and battling these creatures from the Source Wall, and the only way to defeat them was to make them think that Orion was actually already dead. They pull Orion's heart out. Kyle Rayner creates this new heart along with one of the scientists from the Green Lantern Corps, and he's the only thing that can keep it pumping. He does it for like 36 straight hours. Really, really cool. In the Obsidian Age, he actually kills himself but keeps himself alive with this green construct heart all himself, as instructed by Manitou Raven. If you've never read Obsidian Age, go read it. I can't get too much into it. Joe Kelly wrote it. Very, very good. Okay. We have a Kyle Rayner team-up card. I'm just going to put forward and let you guys read it because we don't have the image for it. But I'll read it to you as well. Set number 002E.1. Team Up, Hearts Long Lost. Friendly characters that can use shape change can use mystics. Connections across the universe. Friendly characters with the Star Sapphires keyword have a minimum range of 6. Ooh, that includes him. Justice League, Star Sapphires, Teen Titans, and Herald. That is his team-up card. Didn't know they were coming back. So cool. Last but not least, out of this booster is Cyborg Superman. I'm trying to move fast, guys. But Cyborg Superman we're going to have to talk about just a little bit in case people don't know. Metropolis, Sinestro Corps, Cosmic, Herald, Robot, Ruler. Set number 49. Comes in at 80 points. Fear. The Manhunters. Perplex. When Cyborg Superman uses it to target an opposing character, after resolutions, you may generate a Manhunter bystander, maximum of 3, adjacent to the target. Okay, very cool. Perplex. So it can be 4 squares away from you and dropping a Manhunter right next to him. They won't let me die. Invulnerability, regeneration. A lot of sidestep. Interesting. On the back, you can see Manhunter Grand Master. Stop, leadership. When this click is first revealed, after resolutions generate up to 2 Manhunter bystanders, and you can see their stats there. They have running shot, 10 attack, range combat expert. They are Superman enemy. His team ability is the same. If you look back at the front of his card, Superman enemy, so he can work in conjunction with these Manhunters that he is spawning to gain some outwit. I love that the Manhunters are really more how the move and attack happens for him. He's spawning these things down onto the map and can really create a lot of havoc. Having 3 of those on the map at the same time, really, really cool. Cyborg Superman came about after the death of Superman as one of the 4 new Supermen. How does he tie into the Green Lantern mythos? Well, Mongol came to Earth and hovered over Coast City. Cyborg Superman and Mongol together end up destroying the entire city. Hal Jordan is away. He returns to see his home, his family, his friends, everything dead. This causes the first appearance of Parallax taking over a human being for Hal Jordan, and something called 0 Hour into Emerald Twilight and Final Night for Hal Jordan. What ends up happening with Hal Jordan is Parallax takes over. He eliminates the entire Green Lantern Corps, killing all of them. He then hunts Cyborg Superman to the ends of the universe, to the Source Wall, which has become a huge thing in DC right now. If you're not aware, Source Walls are what separate our universes from other universes, really. at the edge of our universe, anything that touches this wall is absorbed into it and becomes a statue, immortalized kind of forever as a part of the source wall. When Hal Jordan finally tracks Hank Henshaw down at the end of the universe, he will, with his will and with the fear of Parallax, creates all of these dead from Coast City, and they basically rip Hank Henshaw apart and push him into the Force Wall. You think that's the end of Cyborg Superman. He ends up actually coming back, becoming the head of the Manhunters, which were the Guardians' old failed attempt at policing the universe by removing emotion from something, creating a robot that is emotionless, and telling it to go out and make sure that it keeps everybody, holds everybody to the letter of the law. Yeah, guess what happened there? You create an AI sentience with no emotion. That can't go wrong, can it? It does. It goes wrong. Cyborg Superman ends up being kind of rescued by these things and put back together and becomes kind of their lord, their king, and is taken and pulled into the Sinestro Corps during the Sinestro Corps War. So a lot of ties to Green Lantern, Cyborg Superman. The thing that's so sad about him, he's destroyed again. There's a point in the comic books where Sinestro has War World, this entire, planet of his own for the Sinestro Corps. When it's finally blown up in Sinestro Corps War, it's believed that Cyborg Superman is killed. That's all he wants. He just wants to die, and nobody will let him, and his penance really is staying alive or being kept alive through all these different iterations. So there you go, our first super rare, Cyborg Superman. And now we are moving on to our third and final booster of the day. Oh man, so much to get through, guys. I am trying. Ever since we got 12 boosters in a brick, it's a little bit tougher for me to get oh my gosh, we got another super rare. Yes, okay. I'm going to shut up and just start putting these guys out. We've already seen the Green Lantern recruit. We've already seen the question. We have not seen Kyle Rayner as a yellow ring, which happened actually a couple of times, both when he had to study to learn how to, use all of them, but also when he became Parallax himself in the Sinestro Corps War. Very cool. Our super rare in this particular booster, Sentinel. Yes. Oh, that is a beautiful sculpt. It's so cool to see. And then we've got a White Lantern construct of bats, which we've already seen the bats in the green construct. We've got Alan Scott from Kingdom Come. So cool. I wonder if we're going to get any other Kingdom Comes in here. That would be awesome if we did. All right. I'm going to pull these back. We've already seen the question. We've already seen the Green Lantern recruit. I'm going to set them over here. Ooh. What is in Scott Porter's cup? Happy Cold Brew. Yes, if you haven't had Happy, it's very good. And they give a portion of every purchase to NAMI, the National Alliance of Mental Illnesses. And it's a very cool charitable cause, and one that I'm happy to support by drinking some good cold brew. So that's what's in Scott Porter's cup. All right, let's see here. Oh, and we got another team-up card. This is crazy, guys. Let's take a look at the construct first. We've already read it. It's a flock of bats or a flock of constructs. We've already seen it, though. We saw it with green. This one's just the White Lantern version instead, but I figure it's so cute, we might as well take a look at it. Next up, let's take a look at Kyle Rayner. Now, Kyle Rayner was taken by Sinestro. The Ion entity was yanked out of him, and since Sinestro knew that he could house an entity, Parallax was actually forced into him, who is the entity that controls the emotion of fear on the emotional spectrum. Justice League, Sinestro Corps, Teen Titans, and Herald, keyword set number 28, comes in at 60 points, just like the other Kyles. And Artist's Fear. Perplex. When Kyle Rayner uses it to target an opposing character, that character decreases the results of their single D6 rolls by -1 until your next turn. We saw that on the Hal Jordan as well, so it looks like the shared trait amongst the Sinestro Corps members in this are going to be this Perplex, decreasing things for the opponent. I think that Hal took the stats down. This takes the rolls of a single D6 down by 1. Very, very cool. I love how you're using it to target opponents and then letting the fear take their chances of survival away from them. If you flip it over, Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, New Guardians. So they are pulling this one from when he was training under all of the different corps to learn how to become a very good Yellow Lantern so that he could eventually control the White Lantern itself. Okay. All right. Last but not least, we have our super rare. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, I'll show you this other team-up card. Lyra, which is a very cool character to be a part of this set as well. Oh, let me see. I can't really... all right, there we go. I'll tell you everything that she does, though. Turn it over. I don't think you can see. Pause it, take a look at it, but I'll read it for you guys as well. Red Lantern Corps Herald, Martial Artist, and Warrior. Lyra was one of the Lost Lanterns. One of the Lanterns when Hal Jordan went crazy and killed every Lantern. She was in a lost sector. She was outside of his range. He didn't know that she was still around. She popped back to existence, and the last thing she remembers about Hal Jordan is that he was parallax and he killed the entire Green Lantern Corps. So she was red with rage when she saw that Green Lantern was back, that Hal Jordan was wearing a ring again. She became filled with rage. She eventually settled down and became a Green Lantern again. But this one is Red Lantern version of her 23A.1. I'm guessing the B is going to be your Green Lantern version. Team Up, Infectious Rage. If Lyra is on a Red Lantern Corps theme team, all characters, friendly and opposing, can use Battle Fury. Characters with the Red Lantern Corps keyword can be carried regardless of Battle Fury. That's really, really cool. With Blood and Rage is another trait. Poison but deals damage even if moved or placed this turn, which we've already seen. And Uncontrolled Rage, Blades, Claws, Fangs, but may use it while targeting multiple characters and rolls a separate D6 for each hit character. Very cool. That's Lyra. We know getting her in the set now. And last but not least, for our last figure on the day, Alan Scott, Green Lantern from Kingdom Come. Green Lantern Corps, Justice League, Justice Society, Armor, Future, Mystical. A Lonely Throne. Alan Scott can't be targeted by non-adjacent characters. Protected Pulse Wave. I've faced the darkness within. When an opposing character misses Alan Scott after resolutions, remove an action token from Alan Scott. When an effect other than clearing removes an action token from Alan Scott after resolutions, heal him. One click. Woo! Are you going to be missing him? Let's see. 20 defense, top dial. Yeah, there's chances that opposing characters are going to be missing him. Woo, man. You got to attack him up close. You got to hit a 20. He's clearing. If he's clearing, he's healing. Yeah, a lot going on with this guy. If you look on the back, Kingdom Come. When this character would be hit by a ranged attack, if the attacker doesn't have KC, that's Kingdom Come, you may roll a d6. On a 5 or a 6, evade, uncopyable. Also has cosmic energy, so you can't be outwitting this guy, and he has willpower and such. Man, 8 clicks long, high attack value, running shot, pulse wave, can't be targeted by non-adjacent characters, so the Kingdom Come team ability is kind of redundant, protected from pulse wave, and when you're missing him, he is getting clicks back. Awesome. So, so cool. Oh, and I love the base as well. If you haven't read Kingdom Come, please do. I'm not going to jump into it right now. Having one figure from the book doesn't mean we got to break the whole thing down, but beautiful, beautiful story, beautifully drawn. Alan Scott has retreated to this, basically this space where he sits above the earth and watches down on everything like a sentinel. So cool. Just lives a lonely, lonely existence. So there you go. That does it for today, day number 2 of our HeroClix Lantern Legacy unboxing series. I'm trying to keep these short, but guys, there is so much goodness already in these sets. Tomorrow, we got 2 boosters and the release day kit. I'm going to take a look at that, see what else we pull tomorrow out of Lantern Legacy. Today was very fruitful. I'm very, very excited about everything that we have pulled so far. Can't wait to see where else this goes. Remember, the set comes out in late July. I got to say thank you to HyperRPG Studios. I got to say thank you to WizKids for allowing me to do this with you guys. If you want a more exact release date, keep your eyes open and your ears open at your local comic shops or gaming stores. Please support local shops. Please, please, please do. You'll find out from them when this set is coming out, hopefully very soon. Again, we're recording this in early June, so I'm not really sure of the release date quite yet. I wish I had more exact dates for you guys, but the world is a little bit crazy right now. What's not crazy is we will be back here tomorrow. You can count on that. Day number 3 of our HeroClix unboxing series for Lantern Legacy. I'll see you then, and until I do, may all your rolls be critical hits.